Welcome back to part 3 of the vanity build. We're going to cut a door, drawer face, and a finished gable, all with a grain match in this video. If you've watched one of my videos before or you like this one, please consider subscribing. The grain match panels will be used on the door on the middle cabinet, the drawer faces on the right cabinet, and wrap around to the finished gable on the right side. The finished gable runs tight to the underside of the cabinet, while the doors and drawer faces have a 1/8 inch reveal to be factored into my cuts. In addition, I have to account for 1/8 inch thick hardwood edging, so that will have to be factored into all my cuts so the grain aligns. If you've got a keen eye, you may have noticed there's a new piece of machinery in my shop. In my last video on drawer slides, I mentioned cutting notches in the drawer boxes for the Blum drawer slides was best done on a bandsaw, which got me thinking that I was overdue for getting a new one. I used to have a General 490 bandsaw, but found it was pretty underpowered. I was used to working with a Centauro 20-inch 400-volt three-phase. So I ended up playing hooky from work one day, and I picked up a Rockwell Delta 20-inch bandsaw. The model is 28-3XO. I actually couldn't test it on the day of pickup because there's no power cord. So despite that warning sign, I still bought it for 800 Canadian. I popped the panel cover off, and thank God there was a line diagram inside because I would have been in trouble otherwise. I found an old extension cord rated for the loads and slapped on a NEMA 615 plug. Press start, and nothing happened. But the transformer was humming, so I knew that the wiring was correct. So later I found out if I spun the bottom wheel and then press start, it would kick on. So given that little weird thing about it, the humming transformer, which kind of drove me nuts, and the huge size, and it didn't really fit as well, I actually sold it, which is good because I actually picked up another bandsaw the following Friday. This is a 16-inch Laguna Tools bandsaw. It's actually made by Meber. I'm not sure if I pronounced that properly, but it's an Italian brand. It's 20 years old, but it looks brand new. Some guy retired, was going to start a new shop for a hobby. Never got around to cutting anything, it seems like. It's beautiful. It's mint. I had to keep this one, and I let the Rockwell go. Continuing to break down the panels, this piece I'm cutting right here is separating the door from the drawer faces. The grain is running horizontally on this cabinet, so I'm not actually factoring any additional cuts for losing any of that grain kind of language. It's going to flow left to right. It's going to look continuous. Having a reveal or solid wood edging, I don't factor in those additional dimensions. The finished gable I kind of leave long on the right side, and I'll scribe and cut on site. Good to always use the right PPE, and on a table saw that definitely means taking off gloves. No gloves around RPMs. This panel here is going to be all of the drawer faces. I've pre-marked on the side of the panel all my dimensions that I want, including what is going to be a reveal, what's going to be solid wood edging. I cut the top a little bit long here. That's because I haven't cut off the reveal between the counter and the top. So I'm just shrinking that dimension now by 1/8 of an inch. I'll go back later and trim that one up. The sequence of cuts I've kind of worked out is cut all the reveals in between my pieces, then I go back and cut all the solid wood edging dimensions off so I can build that back into the design. It's a little bit slower, but I always stop the saw and line up my piece with the markings on the side of my panel to make sure that I'm still on track. At this point, I go back and remove that 8-inch reveal for the top drawer face, and I also do that for the door face as well. From here on, it's pretty clear. Just cut the tops, 1, 2, 3, cut the bottoms, 1, 2, 3, and then you're done. The finish I applied was covered in the last video, so we'll just jump right to boring for the hinges. I don't have a super fancy drill press setup. Seems like everyone on YouTube does. I've used it just this way forever, and it's fine, I guess. One thing I'm kind of surprised about, though, through the years of woodworking is I've never drilled all the way through the door with this setup. There's not a lot of support on my door, and I've drilled hundreds of doors this way. We're on site. Time to put the plinth down and level it. First you find your high spot, and then you shim up to that level. Cabinets on site is a good thing. It also means that there's extra room in the shop now. Once all your cabinets are placed, you screw them to the wall, the plinth, and to each other. The jig for these bloom clips is super reasonable. It's just worth picking up. I think it's like 15 bucks. Once you screw those on, line them up to where your door hinges are, and then they clip in real easy. Depending on the jig you buy, this one in particular has its own extra function where you can drill out for the pins which expand when you clamp in the hinge. My 9 to 5 these days is working in construction management, and every time we do a demolition job, I always snag all the cabinet hardware, so it seems like I have a never-ending supply of this stuff. They have these new jigs which help you install drawer faces. They look pretty nifty, but I probably won't get them because I don't do this professionally anymore. I'm just going to stick with the old-fashioned quick grip on the drawer face. Once I'm happy with the clamped on location of the drawer face, I pre-drill and screw 5 1-inch screws into the face. Good news, your wife is painted because you don't like doing it and it shows in the quality. So now you can put on all your kick faces and finish gables. I clamp on the finished gable and then screw it from the inside to secure it. The millwork portion of this project is complete. I've already sent off shop drawings to the countertop manufacturer, so if you're interested in that, that's what the next video will be. Also, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.